you're still getting it all done. The job, kids, the calendar full of things only you can keep track of. So why does it feel like you're carrying a 50-pound backpack that no one else can see? The brain fog, the exhaustion that a full night of sleep doesn't even touch, snapping at the people you love over almost nothing, lying in bed with a brain that just will not turn off. If you've been wondering what happened to the woman who used to handle all of this without even breaking a sweat, stay with me. Because there's probably one thing behind every bit of that, and it's probably not the thing that you've been afraid of. Hi, I'm Dr. Julia. I'm a health and neuropsychologist, so I spend my days looking at how the brain and body affect each other. And I've lost count of how many smart, driven, successful women have sat right in front of me and said the same thing. I feel like I've lost myself and I don't know why. So today I want to answer the why, because once you understand what's actually going on, you can stop fighting the wrong battle. Let's start with everything that you've probably been blaming. Here's what I usually hear. I can't focus like I used to. I reread the same email 3 times. I walk into a room and I forget why. I'm exhausted no matter how much I sleep. The littlest things just set me off. My stomach's constantly in knots, or I have headaches that just won't go away. I'm dragging all day, but I just can't wind down at night. And here's the thing about that list. Most people bring each of those to me as a separate problem. They've got one appointment for the sleep, one for the stomach or the headaches, maybe something for the mood, different doctors, different fixes, all in their own little boxes. But what if I told you that those are not all separate problems? What if they're just branches of the same tree? Now, before we get to that tree, let's just clear out what isn't going on here. Because by the time a woman finds me, she's usually landed on one of a few explanations that sound really concerning or maybe even scary to hear. A lot of them wonder, maybe I have adult ADHD. Maybe this is just what getting older feels like. And this is the one that really keeps people up at night. Maybe there's something really wrong with my brain. Maybe it's even early dementia. So let me say this clearly. As the person who's done countless dementia evaluations for many years, if you're in your 30s, 40s, even early 50s, yes, your brain does change a little bit with age, and that is normal. But a little age-related change, it doesn't explain feeling like a completely different person that so many people tell me they feel like. And it's almost certainly not dementia. Dementia doesn't look like a busy, capable woman juggling a career, a family, and is just feeling stretched too thin. What you're describing and feeling is something else entirely. And the good news is it's something that we can actually change. So here's the tree that all of those branches grow out of. That is your nervous system, and specifically a nervous system that's been stuck on high alert for far too long. Your nervous system is the command center of your brain, your body, your emotional control center, and just your overall well-being. And it has tons of branches growing out of it. So let me just paint you a picture for a moment, because this is the thing that I think can help it click for a lot of people. Think about a fire alarm. Fire alarm is a wonderful thing, right? It's loud, it grabs your attention, it gets you moving. That's your stress response, and you do need it in dangerous situations. Think like a fire, an attack, something scary is happening. We need and we want that fire alarm to go off really for survival. But imagine that alarm got stuck in the on position, just blaring all day, every day when there's no fire. Just a full inbox, a tense meeting, a pile of laundry staring at you. That's what's happening inside you. Your alarm got stuck in that on position, and that is what's causing all of those symptoms. And here's why that turns into 5, 6, 7, 10 different symptoms instead of just one. When your brain, or nervous system in this case, thinks there's a constant emergency, it makes a decision for you. It pulls resources from anything that isn't survival, and it pours them into staying on guard, being ready to fight. So the parts of your brain that you rely on to focus, to remember, to plan, to stay patient, those things basically get starved. Attention is diverted away from them. That is not the priority when a building's, supposedly on fire. And that's why it's not just your focus, it's your focus and your memory and your mood and your sleep and your stomach all at the same time. One alarm that's stuck on in this way, which is your nervous system, every system downstream starts to struggle. One cause, all these different branches. Now, here's the part that I think is the most important and often also the most missed. You're still functioning, at least on the outside. I call this functioning on the outside, really struggling on the inside. On the outside, you're still showing up. You're still delivering to the extent you can. You're still the one that everyone counts on. And because you're still doing it all, you might even just kind of assume, well, maybe this is just my new norm. Maybe this isn't that big of a deal. Maybe you just sweep it under the rug. You maybe ask yourself, well, if I was really struggling, I would have completely fallen apart by now, right? But that's exactly what hides this for so long and why so many people stay stuck and don't get help. This didn't happen overnight. It crept in over months, maybe over years. And because you're capable, you basically just kept adjusting to it. Doesn't mean that it was easy, but you kept adjusting. Maybe you lowered the bar an inch at a time and you never even noticed the bar had moved until it really was pretty low. Maybe one day you look up and you realize, wow, I'm tired but wired. I am running on fumes and I can barely remember what it felt like to just feel like myself. And I want to really emphasize that is not weakness. That's a strong person carrying a load for a really long time without getting help for it. And this is where I want you to take a breath, because here's what this actually means. Your brain and your body, they're not malfunctioning. They've been doing exactly what they're built to do. After you've been faced with years of nonstop demand, your nervous system basically adapted. And what happened is it started treating everyday stressors like things are on fire. It cranked up the alarm to keep you safe and keep you going. So technically it worked, but not in a way that's very productive for productivity, for happiness, and just enjoying your life. And here's the catch. That adaptation, as you probably noticed, stopped being helpful a long time ago. The alarm's still blaring, and now it's the thing that's wearing you down the most. The good news is, though, an adaptation can be undone. A nervous system that learned to stay on high alert, it absolutely can be retrained to come back down. And this is not wishful thinking. That's the whole basis of the work I do. And I watch women get themselves back every single day when they have the right system and the right support in place to do so. What does this mean for you practically? It means that you can stop playing whack-a-mole with 10 different symptoms. You can stop chasing the sleep, then the focus, then the mood, one at a time. I don't have to tell you, but it's exhausting, and it's why nothing's really moved the needle. Now, when you go after the root instead, the alarm, the branches start to settle together. The sleep improves, the mood improves, the focus comes back, your brain comes back online, because these were all just the same problem this entire time. Now, the order you do that in matters a lot, and that's a whole conversation on its own. I actually break the whole process down in a free masterclass, and the link for that is in the description if you want it. Okay, so back to that 50-pound backpack you've been carrying. I want to really emphasize this was never showing that you're weak, you're lazy, you're losing your edge. It's just the weight of an alarm that's been stuck in the on position, slowly draining you while you kept showing up anyways. And the moment that you stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what's going on in my nervous system and how do I retrain it? Everything changes, because that second question, it actually has an answer. Now, the good news is you don't have to figure this out by yourself. And in fact, I would encourage you not to do so, because these are complex issues. What is happening in the nervous system? It is very complex, and it requires a comprehensive, holistic, and complex solution as well. So if you want to see exactly how this shows up in real everyday life, watch my video on what overworking, a messy house, and doom scrolling all have in common. This one gave you kind of the big picture. That one shows you what it looks like just on a regular Tuesday. Go watch that one next. And if you want the full picture of how this happens and how to turn it around, I break it all down in a free masterclass. The link's in the description. Subscribe too, so the next one comes to you. You didn't lose yourself. You've been running on an alarm that got stuck in the on position, and that's something you can reset and retrain. I'll see you in the next video.